here, I should just tell you.
Hi there, everybody.
Fuck this noise,
My name is Joe. Welcome to the Salamander Coast. We're going to roll the brand new Salamander Coast intro.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Yeah, this might be.
For what I'm fucking doing, but I'm trying every fucking day.
I would have never even met you.
Sure, it's a very lengthy repertoire. But
a powerful warrior, which, I definitely agree with you on, but
And we're back. So, we're going to go ahead and dive into tonight's session as we head into the summary. So this week on summary is
me.
Is Mark. Take it away, Mark.
I just remembered that 3 seconds ago. That's not Gemma's fault.
I was gonna say, bitch isn't.
I didn't get a word of that, but I felt the sentiment.
It's fine. The sentiment is all that matters here.
Not that either. All right. Book 9, Chapter 2 of the Sally Coast. So, the party is all gathered around on a hill on the coast of Thrall, the northern continent, as Emeriel was preparing the ritual for true resurrection so that they could attempt to resurrect Ajax. First, Suni, as his offering, performed a combative dance with an earthen creation that was in the form of Sultana. Then Carasilla shed daylight upon the land with magic as she tried to will him back with words. Then Cecily rallied for him to return with anger and sent a storm upon the sky to call him back. And finally, Bianca performed a dance for him, one that she had done on stage as a child for Ajax and her parents, but was too scared to finish. And after everything, Ajax felt the voices of his companions as he fought against the Dark One's grasp, and for a long while it seemed that he didn't make it. The party grieved in the aftermath. Bianca was reckoning with the fact that the Raven Queen would be abandoning her for tampering with life and death and breaking their oath. And Suni tried to resuscitate the plant life around the ritual site, sprouting dozens of flowers. He was unable to revive one plant, however, a wilting flower in the very center of the grove, and then, in an unexpected turn, that flower began to shake as the dirt caved in, and Ajax emerged from underneath the soil, clawing his way back to the surface. He was alive, after all, but his body, ravaged by his time with the Dark One, was now undead. As Ajax got his bearings, Emeriel promised to look into a solution for his body's state, because it was only a matter of time before it broke down and was unusable. The party agreed to stay the night in Thrall, their only chance to rest and be together again before they returned to their troubles in Baster. Carasilla took the chance to lift Ajax's spirits and offered that he could use her Gleeman cloak to cover himself while he got used to his new appearance. But meanwhile, Ajax decided he would go buy a new one for himself. Meanwhile, Bianca and Sigrun walked to a nearby fishing village, and they found a graveyard, which would be a way to communicate again with the Raven Queen, and to tie up any loose ends there. So Bianca spoke out, and she didn't necessarily try to get her oath back, but she promised that she would still be working toward the Raven Queen's values, even if her heart and her emotions would cause her to stumble. The Raven Queen's response, which she did receive, was warmer than usual, as she was recalling a similar moment when she was still a mortal, and got very attached to one particular life. And she promised Bianca that she would always be welcome in her temples, but that her oath could no longer remain, at least not for now. Almost immediately, however, she was approached by a new god in humanoid form, Hades, the Thralian god of the underworld. He heard her prayers, since it was within his domain, and he decided to take the chance to offer his own services, should she need them. He claimed to measure life and death, as opposed to balance it the way the Raven Queen did, weighing the goodness of each soul when deciding their fate. She agreed to a partnership, as he seemed to respect her power and her priorities, and they had a common enemy, and she was granted some benefits with this partnership in the meantime. The party set up camp for the evening, resting for the first time in a long while, and they prepared for the adventures that awaited in Maester, Atarashi, and beyond. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the music just ended. It was really good timing for me.
Oh yeah, man. Alrighty. So, with that, we dive in. Where, for our companions, it is now nighttime on the shores of the Thralian countryside. The sun has set, and now all you can see up until the horizon is just this deep blue outreach of salty water. The faintest glimmer of light can be seen in the distance as Port Lemnos, as bright as it shines in the night, even as far away as it is, you can still make out just the very, very glimpse of it. A shining beacon to sailors that choose to traverse the coast this late in the evening. However, none of you are sailors. You instead find your rest here on the coastline. Tomorrow morning, Emeril will return to bring you back to Maester. And then, after a short while in Maester, you all will be sent to Atarashi to handle the situation with Draven Hunt and the investors of Bella Clara that have fled after Bianca and the party's victory over Ivana. So, as all of you head to rest for the night, obviously there is a new element to this where Ajax does not need to sleep. Ajax can be ever watchful and present during the entire watch. So, there is not a need for traditional watches should you all not wish to do them. However, if there are any private conversations you guys would like to have at this time, more than okay with that. But if it's two people that do not involve Ajax, Ajax will see because he's awake. So with that, I open it up to all of you. What do you want to do? Do you want to have any conversations, or do you just want to wait it out until Emeril arrives in the morning?
Oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
John.
Oh,
No,
shit.
I was just gonna say I don't have anything particular in mind unless someone else had anything else. Because, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. John, you have something?
I think during people's watch, well, when people are awake, Ajax is going to kind of walk off a little bit away from the party and just kind of go back to that hill he was on last session, and just kind of take his spear, place it, like his legs are crisscrossed, place it on his knees in front of him, close his eyes, and try to focus on Paylor.
Yeah, you try, but nothing.
He's going to try harder, kind of putting his hands on the spear and saying,
I need you. Please. More than ever.
You receive
Show
no
me a
response.
sign.
He tries one more time.
Yeah, you try again. Nothing.
I think at that point, he kind of opens his eyes and looks up.
Why aren't you listening? I need you. Please.
Nothing.
He takes the spear, gets up, and just chucks it into a nearby tree.
The trunk of the tree shatters almost in half as the tree embeds the radiant energy crackling from it. The tree is still standing, but I mean, it's one fell swoop away from being knocked over.
He just kind of looks at the spear and
Fine. I understand.
and he's going to walk back to the party, and he's going to leave the spear in the tree.
Okay. All right.
He's going to keep distance from the party. He's going to sit somewhere that can survey the area, not talking to anybody. He's just going to be in a spot where he can see everything around, because he can't sleep, so he might as well be a sentinel.
Okay. Sounds good. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Do I have dark vision?
Ooh, that's a good question. If you didn't as a lion, you don't as a undead.
Shit. Oh, I do. Oh, thank God. I see it.
I was like, you are kind of a cat, so I'd hope you have dark vision.
I was like, man, this is going to be really, really bad if he doesn't have any dark vision. Okay, yeah.
Okay, all right. I will keep that in mind as you're patrolling and watching. Okay. Did anybody else have anything aside from Ajax?
I think at some point in the night, Cecily would, trying to wait for everybody else to be asleep, slip away toward the water, and she would forget or not be cognizant of the fact that, like, Ajax is gonna be there the whole night. And she's gonna slip toward the water, and, like, her intention is to send another message to Poe, but she will at some point during Ajax's watch go out and then see him, and he'll probably see her, and she'll stop and just kind of awkwardly be there, like, by the water, like, trying to play it off like, oh, I just came here to look at it. Whenever that happens, figured I'd just...
Doesn't seem like Ajax responds at all. He just sees.
No.
Oh.
Ajax just, like, I just typed in the chat. Like, all you see is the glowing eyes just in the tree, just, like, watching you. And then look away as you go do it. Like, Ajax isn't listening in on your conversation. Are you talking to him, or are you just walking past him, right?
Yeah, she'll just walk past.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
But she'll kind of look and sort of process for the first time. Still kind of getting used to everything. But yeah, and she'll... Not a big thing, but she'll basically be sitting by the water and say to Poe, sending another primordial message, that she noticed his presence during the ritual and wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. As you do say something, you are very shocked to hear back almost immediately. I could tell how much he meant to all of you. And I wanted to help if I could.
Whoa. That was... Wait, can you hear me right now?
Wait. That was immediate? Whoa.
Holy shit. Whoa, she's gonna kind of sit up like, you know, when you call somebody to leave a message and then they answer.
Yeah.
You're like, hi, can I was calling to, like she's just sitting there like, yeah, no, I heard.
Oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah, no, you're there? I didn't know that's how that...
I didn't either. I thought the last time I said something and you responded, it was like a long time before I heard anything back. So I just assumed that that's just how it works, but I guess not.
Yeah, me too. Where are you?
I'm in Thrall.
Oh. I'm in Thrall.
Whoa.
Where in Thrall? Well, that's a dumb question. I wouldn't know what you meant, probably.
Are you near the coast, or...
Oh, I'm touching water right now. That's how I've been doing this.
Have you ever heard of a lake? Like, are you familiar with the concept?
I've known a lake or two. Yeah, I've known a lake or two.
Okay. So then you would also be familiar with the fact that lakes and coastlines can be two separate.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm on the coast.
Listen, I know you're the lightning girl and I'm the water boy, but I thought that was basic knowledge.
No, yeah, you're right. No, you're so right. Yeah, I'm on the coast.
But you're by the coast. I'm very far away from the coast. It's something that Alec took us here to do. Something with dark friends and shadow spawn deep within the jungles. We decided to stop for rest near this lake. And I was thinking about maybe saying something to you, and then I hear something and I'm like, oh my god, well, I gotta say something. And then you said something, and then now we're here.
So you're still fighting them?
I am, yeah.
Kinda wish you weren't.
I kinda wish you weren't either.
Yeah, well, they already killed me. What more can happen?
I mean, I can think of a couple things that are worse, but I like the optimism. I once saw this guy that was with us. It was one of the Bansheen. They attacked him, and it was like watching like a fruit decompose over time, but rapidly. Just all the moisture and air sucked from it. He bit it. The Bansheen bit him and just took everything from him. Things are changing, Cecily. Things are getting a lot worse. I mean, Alec has seen a lot of shit, but light blind me. Just stay safe, okay? If you will, then I will.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise. And as he says that, you see a little ripple in the water in front of you.
She'll, like, clap it.
Ow! I tapped my pinky to the water. What did you do? Did you just smack the water?
Maybe.
See, you see the water like splash up in your face. Salty. It's very
Ah.
gross.
Fuck, dick! Oh, okay. Blech. We're even.
All right. We're even. Oh, wait. Cecily, I've got to go. There's movement.
Okay, can I just ask, when I reached out to you the first time, how much of that did you get? Was it word for word, or was it...
It was enough. Not all of it, but it was enough. And at that moment, you feel the connection break. You hear Poe sort of hold his breath, and then the connection breaks. Seemingly something has pulled him away from the pool of water he was near.
Good talk. See you later. And she'll just like kick some sand in the water and just walk back, just like shaking.
Yeah. Okay. Cecily, you head back to camp. Ajax, you continue to patrol. Does anybody else have anything to do? I guess it would just be Carasilla or Suni.
Yeah. I'll try to. Yeah. Oh yes. So, Suni would also have wanted to wait until like a little bit later to try to do this. But imagining that he had heard the spear shattering tree going on earlier.
For sure. Yeah.
He was going to feel some sort of way about a tree being destroyed. And he's gonna walk over to the tree. And is he strong enough to remove the spear from it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a, like a toothpick out of a sandwich. It takes a little bit of wiggling to get, but you pull it out.
So yeah, he'll pull it out, and will meander around until he can find wherever Ajax is. I don't know if he saw where he went off to.
I mean, yeah,
try
he's
to find him.
he's patrolling. You could easily find him.
Yeah. So he'll kind of approaching behind him or whatever. You'll probably hear, I don't know, the spear might be kind of like dragging a little bit because it's a little too big for his like small ass body. But so hearing the tip of it kind of dragging around, he'll say, "Hey, you forgot this," and he'll try to hoist it up and present it to Ajax.
Ajax slowly grabs it, turns it spear side down, and puts it in the ground.
Thank you.
I hope I'm not overstepping. I know things are really fresh right now. But when a person like you doesn't normally just attack a tree, so I just wanted to know what was going on.
I'm frustrated.
Of course.
I apologize for destroying that tree.
It's okay. We all do things we don't mean to, especially when we're frustrated. I get that.
Paylor's not talking. No signs. No feeling. Nothing.
Yeah, I feel that one too. The gods are really fickle for some reason. I don't know, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the circumstances being the way they are, but and he'll look kind of like sheepishly to the ground when he says that. Um, but it's yeah, I really get that. I went
I know you do.
a long time without being able to speak with the Mother of Mountains. And you know, I really wish I could tell you that like they say more in their silence than they do in their words. But I think that's a load of bullshit, you know?
This doesn't feel like silence, though. It feels like banishment. I don't know why. I've spent most of my life following Paylor and Leos, trying to be the light they wanted me to be. And I didn't ask for this. The way I am now. How could he turn his back so easily?
I don't know. I think, you know, all of us in our own way look to the gods and, I don't know, this kind of great mystical, magical knowledge of everything and should be all good or all bad or something that's easy to wrap your head around, but it never is. It's never black and white. And to be honest, it's really, really hard all the time. And I know that you know that. But Paylor didn't bring you back here. Paylor is not the reason you're back. And I can't even begin to imagine to feel what it feels like to be in your shoes right now. Or your claws, I don't know. But Paylor isn't the only light. You got a bunch of them around you right here.
I know.
Don't push us away.
I won't. You're right. Paylor didn't bring me back. You all did. And I apologize if my anger upset you, Suni.
No. I'm totally cool. You know, ants get stepped on, grass gets smushed, flowers get chopped, trees get exploded by magical spears. It happens. Just don't make a habit out of it, okay?
I won't. Thank you,
Suni
Suni.
will open his arms, kind of like asking if Ajax would like to maybe have a hug, but also not like outright just hugging him against his will.
How tall is Suni?
Like 5'6".
Okay. Yeah,
Shocking.
Ajax will smile, and it's probably really creepy every time he smiles now. But he
There's
will
that
walk over
lovely smile.
and hug you, and it's just cold, and you can hear bones just as he hugs you.
He'll hug him back as not so tightly, just because he's not sure how brittle the bones are, but and he'll say, Ajax was so glad that you're still here. You have no idea.
I'm glad I'm back with you all.
Well, I'll let you keep on with your watch. I am not somebody who can stay up all night, though.
This seems to be a perk.
Sure, a perk.
Good night, Suni.
Good night, Ajax.
And after Suni walks away a little bit, Ajax looks at the spear, grabs it, puts it on his back, and just keeps walking.
Okay. Alrighty. The two of you head your separate ways. For the evening, Carasilla, did you have anything you wanted to do?
I don't think so for this night, no.
Okay. Alrighty. Sounds good. So, as all of the party members head to rest, Ajax, you are left awake, looking out over the nighttime countryside in search of any threats that may accost your friends or yourself. So you patrol. You watch. Every once in a while, sitting and waiting, knowing the time that it naturally takes your body to rejuvenate, even in its undead form. But with I believe it was a 22, yep, with a 22, you do notice something. Off in the distance, maybe 30 feet, 30 to 60 feet away from the hillside you're on the road that leads to Port Lemnos, away from where you are, you can see what looks to be an elderly man pulling a cart of goods, leaving the village this night, or passing through. You're not exactly sure. But you can see arriving from the opposite direction seem to be two riders, two individuals in light armor that slow when they get near the old man and seem to be stopping him in the middle of the road. It's too far away to hear what any of them are saying. The individuals getting off horseback are masked, so you have no idea what they're saying, even if you could read lips. But you can tell they've stopped the old man, and it does not seem like he is able to move of his own free will.
How far away are they?
Maybe 60 feet.
Is anyone in the party up right now?
At this point, no.
Okay. Ajax will walk closer to see what's going on. He's gonna keep. What's his movement speed? Yeah, he'll keep like 45 feet away from the party. So I guess get 45 feet closer to these people.
Alrighty. You get closer. Go ahead and make a stealth check, since it seems like you're trying to conceal yourself.
Okay. It's bad. I don't have good stealth.
No, you are shadow, remember? Become darkness.
No.
So, Ajax, as you begin to try and move throughout the brush around you, not used to this form, the creaking of bones and the snapping of twigs from your large footfalls. The closer you get, the more noise you're making. You do eventually begin to hear the individuals. The two riders, you can tell that they're thieves, they're robbers, stopping this old man. And you can hear a woman, Thoralian, say, "Old man, you will hand us everything in the cart, and we'll let you walk free. Who knows how far you'll get, but you'll be allowed to leave with your life." And the old man says, "Please, please, I would much prefer this did not turn to violence. Is there no way we can find some amicable way where we can part ways with a small portion of my goods? Please, I have not the means to replace all of them. It's my livelihood." And the conversation proceeds in that manner. Ajax, do you want to intercede?
Can I tell that they see me yet?
Not yet at that moment.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to. Oh. He's going to slowly walk up, spear, shield out of hand, and just kind of walking out of the darkness. Edgelord Ajax says,
You know, it's not nice to bully.
What in the hells is that? As you see both of them just stopping, looking at you with disgust. You can see the woman says, "I suggest you march yourself back into whatever damnation you came from. This business is between us and the old man. No need to
I
involve
suggest
yourself."
you both get on your horses before this is your last night.
What, some starved, malnourished Leonin? What do you think, because you're kind or reverential here to others, that we will give you the same kindness? No. You are obviously disgraced. You carry no light with you.
Ajax is going to use his full movement, because he's cat, he's fast, to just kind of jump behind one of them and grab them by the shoulder, and his claws just kind of slowly go into their shoulder.
Okay. All right, so yeah.
Think about your last words.
You made a mistake. And Ajax do a 19 and a 20 hit.
They do.
Okay. Okay, 6. You take 17 points of piercing damage as you don't feel them at all, but there are 2 thunks in your back. The momentum moves you as you feel 2 arrows in your back and then 3 rapid stabs from the woman in front of you. It's 23. That is a 16.
Miss.
Okay. And then that is a 19.
Hit.
Okay, so that is going to be first D4 with sneak attack. Wow, that's bad sneak attack damage. 6, 12, 17. For a total of 21 points of damage.
Cool.
As there's stab, the dagger juts off to the side, reflects off a piece of the small smatterings of armor that you have, and the third one strikes deep, and you can feel part of the bone crack as there is this rancid smell of rot and bile that just begins to waft out of your rib cage. As Ajax, you can see the woman's eyes shoot in fear as you are still alive.
I feel like Ajax doesn't even move. These all hit him, and he's just still grabbed onto the guy's shoulder. How close is the one that just shot me?
Probably 30 feet back, away from the city, so even further from your companions.
Okay, so he is going to yeah, he's going to just still holding onto this guy, take his spear, turn around and throw the spear, trying to land directly in that person's face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll for an attack. That hits. Roll your damage.
So it's this.
Yeah, spear impales through the face. They're dead immediately. They are just like a shish kebab, like a piece of meat on a stick. Just go limp immediately, hanging on the spear.
As soon as that happens, Ajax is going to. Was the person who shot me? Is there like light around here, or is it like really dark?
It's really dark.
Okay, so can those people that they were like the old man? Is it hard for them to see right now?
The old man? Well, you do notice pointed ears on his head.
Okay, all right. So Ajax is going to, with his claw still on this guy's shoulder, he's going to pull out one of his hand axes. Oh, you know what? He's not. He's just going to keep his claws out and just lean in and say,
Do you believe in a god?
They're just stuttering and stammering. They have no words after seeing what you just
I
did.
asked you a question.
Lord Zeus, protect me, please. Please, Zeus.
Your god forsakes you on this day.
and he just drags his claws across this guy's face and throat.
Yeah. No check needed. There is no resistance, no trying to dodge as you just sink your claws in and you just peel back as if you were pulling the film off of a new device. Just that quick peel, it is effortless as you just tear through their face.
Ajax releases his claws, looks at the old man and the woman, turns around, grabs his spear out of the face, puts it on his back, and just walks into the darkness.
Okay. As you do, the old man says, "Wait a moment, if you would be so kind."
He stops.
It's very bold to aid an old man traveling on the road. Most in this country would leave me to my fate. Idiotic enough to leave town at night. But you came to my aid. I wonder why.
Ajax kind of turns around, his eyes glowing, looking at this old man.
You were in trouble. I was awake. I helped. Criminals like that shouldn't be walking around.
Well, there is hope for you yet, Ajax Polemos. Look forward to seeing what you'll come. And with that, there is this crash of lightning around the old man as he disappears, dissolves, nothing but a soot stain on the ground from where the lightning struck. The cart still there, but the man gone.
Since Ajax is Thralian, can he ascertain what this might be?
Whew, that looks a lot like Zeus.
Ajax doesn't say anything.
I will say, for Ajax's benefit, Zeus in Thrall is known for the trials that he will send adventurers on, or that he'll put them through, whether they know it or not. Sometimes it's not even for any end goal. It's just because it's entertaining to him to see the lengths which people might go. But it was a trial, one that Ajax succeeded.
Ajax is confused. Kind of looks up. And walks back to the group.
Okay.
Oh, well, before he does that, he is going to clean up his mess. He is going to, because he can't sleep, he's going to bury these people by the road.
Okay. Ajax, as you lurch over to grab the first corpse, the one whose face you had peeled off like an orange, just ripping away the fibrous skin. You look into the maud visage, that fresh pulp, steaming and red. You black out.
Oh, that's one way to go to sleep. Okay.
As the sun rises that next morning, sounds of the shore, the wind on the hilltop, and the quiet noises of nature, birds chirping. All of you awake. And Ajax, you come too. You just finished your patrol. The night was safe. And aside from the bandits that attacked that old man, who you have your own suspicions about who he may have been, you remember nothing else after that. You do know that the bodies have been taken care of, but you can't for the life of you, or unlife of you, remember where and how. So, as the sun rises, as all of you prepare yourself for the days ahead, there is a crackle of energy on the ground in front of your camp. As stepping forth, you see two individuals, not just one. One individual you are very familiar with and have... that's... Okay. You're very familiar with. You know him quite well. Rune Master Sylvis Emeril, an individual you've encountered many times on your journey. The other individual that is standing next to him, you have never seen. A high elf, also. Golden eyes, tanned golden skin, about shoulder-length blonde hair. A rather handsome man. As Emeril exits and says, I hope all of you are well, and that you have, found some connection to this place. Before there are any questions, I'd like you to meet a companion of the Forerunners of Fate, Zevran Tariel. And I will go ahead and now put this to chat. You can see as he exits, he smiles. He seems like a very kind young man. He's wearing very, very, very nice robes of gold and red. As he says, it's very nice to meet all of you. As Emeril so kindly introduced, my name is Zevran Tariel of House Tariel of Ivarion, second son of the House of Tariel. It's a great pleasure to finally meet all of you. I've heard a great deal. And I'm very happy to our future partnership. I come here, well, not to Thrall. This was a bit of a strange detour, but when I used sending to Emeril, it just happened to be where he was heading. Provided he is all right with it, there is something that has come up with Nalthian and the Forsaken known as Malice. something that a companion of yours, Mimir, could lend a hand with. As I hear it, he is especially adept at solving ciphers.
Yes, that's correct. And are we assuming that there was a conversation that we were able to get between Bianca with Caracella's help? Or we... Because I know we kind of talked about that in Isles.
Just so that way for those people that are not in Isles, so they stay up to date with what's happening, let's just assume no.
There's no conversation. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Just make it easy.
Sure. Then continuing on, she'll say, he is in Maester, but he did help us solve a pretty ancient cipher maybe a month ago. So I'm sure he'd be open and have time for it.
Fantastic. It is of the utmost importance. Obviously, I don't know. And he kind of looks around and he looks to Emeril. And Emeril says, it's probably best if we wait until we return to the sanctum for you to discuss anything further. No knowing when scrying eyes are looking upon us. And Zevran nods and he says, I'd like to wait to discuss any further. I'm sure all of you can understand.
Absolutely.
You see, he kind of looks at you, Bianca, and it's like a weird look of recognition. He kind of he kind of shakes his head and just moves on.
In another world.
Okay. Alrighty. But with that, Emeril is ready to take all of you back to his sanctum for one, but then back to Maester. Is there anything else anybody wanted to do in Thrall?
I just want to make sure Ajax has his spear. He's keeping his spear with him, or did he? Okay.
Yep.
Because if he didn't, Bianca would address that. But if he has it,
Okay.
I got nothing.
Alrighty.
Cecily would see Emeril kind of getting ready and be like, well, okay, we're leaving like right now? Like right now?
There is a lot to do.
Yeah, no, I get, okay.
Was there something else you wanted to do while you were here?
No, just, everyone give me 10 minutes, and she's gonna, like, beeline over to the coast.
That is the opposite of no, but very well, take your time. I don't know, Mark, why I'm being so sassy to you today.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just
fine.
really teeing up these beautiful these things.
No, she's saying dumb shit.
Yeah, it's great.
But, no, she'll, like, beeline to the coast
Uh-huh.
and just be like, Poe, pick up, Poe, answer, Poe, and just be, like, smacking the water. Just trying to see if he's there again.
You receive no response, but as you begin to hit the water, it seems as though there's some residual connection to wherever place he was. As you begin to hit the water, you can see blood begin to appear. You don't think it's Poe's blood, but apparently there was a fight wherever he was, and whatever attacked them ended up in the water, bleeding out.
Shit. Okay, and she's just gonna, like, knelt by the water, just, like, scooch 5 feet over. And just flick off her hands. And just send more generally. We're leaving, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to actually talk again for a while. It was really nice, actually, hearing you. Even if it was just for a bit. Okay, that's it. I'll maybe send you some other shit at some point. I will. I don't know why I said maybe. I will. Look forward to it. Why'd I say that? Okay, alright, fuck. And she's gonna get up and just come jogging back to the group and be like, alright, we're fine. We can go.
Okay. Alrighty. So, you head back to Emerald. He says, very good. All right. We'll be making a brief stop in my sanctum for Zevran to discuss his findings about the situation in the cipher. But then after that, to Maester. And I will head to Otarashi first to discuss with my compatriot there, make sure that all of you are good to be in his home for the time being. And then you'll be in Otarashi. So, please, everyone, grab hands. And hand-holding session as he casts teleport. Pew! As all of you can feel these, to use more flavor, these spectral threads, golden of bright, radiant energy wrap around you as all of you appear within. That was weird. Okay. Not in Thrall anymore, but in Emeril's sanctum. So, as all of you appear here, you can see Zevran loosens up a bit and he begins to speak more freely. So, to give you the short of it, it is at the end of the tourney of the Green Lady, when Nalfian, the other Forerunners, and the other knights that were competing were meant to grab onto an artifact of the Green Lady to teleport them back to the lake, it instead teleported them to the Underdark, to Malice's domain, where she wanted to make a deal with them, forge a pact, offering her assistance to the Forerunners, and I guess to that extent to the Wanderers. As I understand it, she had similarly done for you back when you were in Bromsgrove. Extend that help to the Forerunners in a pact of mutually wanted destruction of the Dark One. She wanted the Dark One destroyed, but the only caveat was she would no longer be... the party, the Forerunners, would no longer be able to harm her. So... that was part one. Part two was that should she step out of line and break the contract, break the pact, then the party, each one of the Forerunners, would learn of a location, a device, an item of some sort within the Nine Hells that could be used to destroy Malice. As she herself admitted in that moment, that balefire will not kill her. She has prepared for that, apparently, whatever that means. She's prepared for it, and should she be destroyed with balefire, it will not be the end of her, due to what she claimed to be a vampiric nature. So, while it seemed to be a good deal, Nalfian did learn of when he was within the College of Hearthcrest, he found a book written by a Baenir son that talked of an item that could be used to destroy Malice, but it was behind a heavily coded cipher. And it would be up to the party, to the Forerunners, to Nalfian, and whatever help he could get to decipher it, to make sure that we can find this item so we can destroy Malice. Regardless of if she wants the Dark One destroyed or not, I think Nalfian put it best. If she's aiming to destroy the Dark One, it's because she wants to become him. She wants that power for herself. So, that is why we wish to have Mimir aid us. I'm not going to lie to all of you. I like to consider myself fairly intelligent, but this is something unlike anything I've ever seen. Multi-page cipher written in Undercommon, no less. From what Bianca had shared to Nalfian, an individual very close to all of you, Mimir, has the ability to speak that and solve rather intense ciphers. So that, I think, is the long and short of it. If he's all right with it, of course. I would never want to take an individual from home. Of course.
Well, unfortunately, Mimir is already... home isn't quite accessible for Mimir anymore. But he's a wonderful person and very passionate about supporting anyone against the Dark Ones, so I do feel he will... I don't want to speak for him completely, but I can't see him saying no to helping you with this. He helped us just fine and was amazing. Really invaluable friend.
That's very nice to hear. I look forward to meeting him. Well, if all of you are all right with it, then I appreciate your cooperation greatly. As to the rest of the Forerunners, I'm sure they wish they could be here in my stead to speak with you face to face, but both parties are so busy, I don't think that would work.
Unfortunately not. So is Mimir returning back with you, or are you staying in Maester with Mimir?
I would be returning with Mimir. Understandably so, Nalfian does not want this cipher to be out of his hands or away from the group for too long of a duration.
That's fair, and we won't be in Maester much longer, for only a little while.
Well, that's the life I guess we've chosen to live, always on the move. Well,
exactly.
and he kind of looks to Emerald, and Emerald looks to the rest of you and says, well, if all of the rest of you are ready, and you have no other questions for Zevran, then we can return to Maester. Good?
I don't think I have anything else.
All right. Hold hands.
Hand holding.
I'm just kidding. We can use the teleportation circle this time. So all of you walk over to the... You all walk over to the teleportation circle.
Hold hands.
Oh, Emerald's a little goofy today. He's out of the astral sea for a week. Jesus. All right, so you all walk over to the teleportation circle, and with a few arcane mutterings between him and Zevran, both, you disappear from there, and you appear actually in the wow, I don't know how to spell. Wow. Okay, there we go. You all appear within the temple, the Order of the All-Seeing.
Ajax has the cloak up. Like, he doesn't want anyone to see him this way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alrighty. So, Ajax, you pull the cloak up. You can see that within the area where you appear, it was the same teleportation circle that Cecily, you, and Vondor set up. As you appear, you can see there are several of the Mazdrum dwarves that are here, as well as Vondor. As all of you appear, a very large group of definitely not dwarves from his city, he says, "Oh, it is very good to see all of you, and new faces as well. You all have returned then, that is good news."
Yes, we'll kind of help tend to things before we have to head out again. We have to go take care of a few loose ends in Atarashi that hopefully will also benefit here back in Belaclara as well. But we'll be here for a little while.
Of course. There was one point of business I wish to bring up to all of you, briefly, if you'd be willing to hear it if you're not too busy.
No, especially if it's important. We should know.
Myself and the other of the Mazdrum that remain, we have done what we can to fortify and repair the broken structures within, not just here in Maester, but also in Fort Ivar. We did all we could to clear paths to different important areas within Damaris City and in the Keep. But now we feel as though our skills as craftsmen are needed elsewhere. With the express permission of the Council, we would like to leave Maester, heading out into the rest of the Old Kingdom and into the remainder of Belaclara to allow our skills to be used by the people who need it.
I think Bianca would look to the rest of the council, but these are experts. Like, they know. I think she would defer to them on their, professional opinion over our opinion on whether or not they should move on or not. So Bianca's fine with that.
I just have one question.
Master builder.
As Master Builder, yeah.
Yeah. If all of you leave, is this teleportation circle still going to be up and running? Because I really like it, man. This is our circle.
It is, well, very much so. It is our circle, Cecily. And yes, it will still remain up and running. It requires no maintenance.
Oh. Well, shit, I didn't know that. I don't have that spell. Cool.
Would you like to learn it?
I guess.
Before I leave, I will teach it to you, and you will inscribe these runes in your memory, and should you ever be in a tight spot, you can return here. It is not fast, but it may help.
Am I going to need all the chalk and rocks and stuff?
No, that is only for this one. Well,
Huh.
you will need chalk. Well, you're a sorcerer. It might be different. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll test some things out.
That's how it always goes, Vondor. Alright, I'm cool with it.
Very good. Well, when you have more free time, come find me, and we will wait to leave until then. And with that, he will nod.
2 people missing, but I feel like everyone would kind of agree.
Yeah. The council's like, no, we don't have time for this. They all walked away. But yeah, I don't see why anyone would
Yeah.
be upset with this call.
That's awesome, though, that their work is so fast and hard. Love them. Give them a raise. Wait, we don't have money. Once we get money, raise.
We have increased
Bonus.
your good feelings for helping the world pay by 2 feelings.
Yeah, best vibes all the way there.
See,
Your
there you
pats
go.
on the back have increased by 3 an hour. Yeah.
So with that, all of you head out into the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's head on out. Let's see
Alrighty.
the city now fresh and pretty and summery.
Take me down to the paradise where the grass is green, the girls are pretty.
Okay.
I really wanted to like scream like Axl Rose right there over the "Take Me Home" part, but I really.
We appreciate that you didn't, actually.
Alrighty. So with that, you head out into the city of Maester, emerging from the Temple of the All-Seeing, at first within the keep, and then upon exiting the keep into the city itself. You can see that it is blossoming. It is booming. There is life. There is commerce. There is all of the things that make a happy economy and a happy, settled population. There's a weird way to say
Yay!
it, but I couldn't think of a...
It's okay, I understood.
All right. So, all of you exit into the city, and the
Oh, man.
uh-oh.
Sad.
Oh, Gemma, no.
Oh, Gemma, no. Oh, okay. Alrighty. So Gemma has to step out for the rest of the session. We will miss you a lot, Gemma. So what we're gonna do now that you guys are in the city, and I'm here. I'm just in the corner of this one screen. We're gonna take a break right there so I can fix the overlay, and then we'll be back.
Okay.
As even though this is really funny, me in this corner right here, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. We're back.
This camera, John, come back.
No, okay.
I'm
I
here.
thought I fucked up the overlay for a second. I was like, no, I spent so long fixing it. My Patrick Stewart popped out there.
Our chat box is just that picture of glowing eyes. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And with the caption "or this" makes it seem like a threat.
Oh man.
All right. Let's go back into the game. So, as we dive back in, the party has returned to Maester after a brief conversation with Vondor, the new leader of the the new leader of the Mazdrum dwarves. Not the Kalukat, though. That's a different thing.
Whole different thing.
The leader of the Mazdrum, the dwarves from the Mazdrum Mountains, proclaims that they are going to disperse themselves across the Old Kingdom, trying to help people wherever they can. Now that Maester, Fort Ivar, and Damaris Keep and Damaris City have been repaired enough. Damaris Keep and Damaris City is going to take years to return to anywhere near the glory that it used to be before Ivana's snowy clutches. But there's work that needs to be done elsewhere. So that leads us to where we are now. The party has emerged into the city of Maester with some new information. For one, information of Zevran and what is happening with the Forerunners of Fate down in Iverion and Tarkir. This plot to destroy Malice, one of the 13 Forsaken. The party from the Forerunners needing to borrow Mimir for the time to help try and decode a cipher, So, we'll say Emeril and Zevran go to handle that. They go and talk to Mimir while all of the rest of you take on whatever duties you need to do on this day. We'll say that you have probably 3 days in Maester before Emerald's associate in Atarashi is ready for all of you within his tower. So as all of you exit into the broad daylight of the city of Maester, let me double check one thing. Right off the bat, is there anything anybody wanted to do immediately getting back into the city?
Chill with Vondor and learn the spell.
Okay.
We don't have to make that a big thing.
I think Bianca would want to just check in with all the people who are in, like, I think specifically Victor, but kind of just everyone who's been in charge of, you know, getting everything like fixed up and just see how things are going. I know with Victor, she, in the grand scheme of, like, you know, a government, she does not have a ton of money, but she has a ton of money for one person. So I think I'm going to give my 185 platinum to Victor just to help, like, get things going.
Okay.
And
I
yeah,
will
sorry.
say, as you do go to talk to him and you hand him the money, he says,
my queen, I would just like to inform you, while I will gracefully accept this donation and distribute it out to the refugees within the city, thanks to the dwarves from the Mazra Mountains, we were able to pilfer and remove much of the gold that had been hoarded in Ivana's storerooms. The coffers of the Old Kingdom are all right. Of course, every little bit helps, but I don't want you to have to feel like you have to sacrifice your own spending money for it.
Well, this is plenty than enough spending money, and
All right.
it's just not needed in my pocket. But that is
So be it.
really good to know. That's good, because I was thinking we may need some of the investors' help at some point, but if you think we're doing all right, we're not in a desperate spot, maybe we don't need to worry about easing things over, at least needing their help.
Yeah, Ivana had to amass a fair bit of wealth to attract the White Dragon to her keep to capture. So, I mean, to put it in a way, there's not an exact number, but we are looking at about 7 figures worth of money. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. That's Felicity, not Bianca.
I like
That's
to
fucking
imagine.
awesome. Sorry, had to like, damn. Yeah, Bianca will have like a pleasantly surprised look on her face. She's now also feeling very hopeful about everything. But good to know to check in on that. There are a few projects that I wanted to like propose that were like things after the city, well, after the Old Kingdom at large is doing better. I had a few ideas, but for like memorials and monuments and things like that. But we can also address that when everything's in a better spot, and I can just also message you, Joe, about my ideas.
Okay, sounds good.
The other thing that I kind of forgot about, because, you know, everyone was kind of almost or was dead, there's supposed to be a pyre that Bianca was supposed to light with holy fire to do something against the Dark One. And it was at the keep. Between, like, talking with the dwarves and anyone who's been in charge of, like, searching the battlegrounds, I guess, in general. Has that pyre been found?
Yes. It was. Sorry, I just got a message.
You're good.
It was found. However, the dwarves of the Mahastrum Mountains that found it, they did not know exactly what it was. It just looked like a rather large brazier in a rather secluded portion of the keep. They found it and it was marked down, but if you were to go ask Vondor, he would be able to point out where it's located within Damaris Keep.
Okay, yeah, I think she would. It doesn't seem like it's like an emergency to get to that, because I mean, Damaris Keep is a bit of a ways away from Maester, and I know that's probably longer than a 3-day trip, isn't it?
With the weather you're having now, no, you could easily get there and back in 3 days.
Oh, well, maybe that's what Bianca will do then. I know she doesn't have the Raven Queen's fire necessarily anymore, but I think she would just kind of like bringing the... Well, and she could bring Suni too, because maybe Holy Fire with through Elowen would also help.
I also have some things to do around there as well. So it
Oh,
would
you
be-
do?
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be a Suni Bianca project, because like obviously Bianca would try to light it with either if the Raven Queen's like one last favor before we break up for good, or maybe if Hades wants to step up and light some golden fire. If not, then we can use some Elowen fire too. So we got 3 options to try and light that fire, and then she can help Suni if Suni wants any help with his stuff around that area too.
I would love for Keothi to come with us as well. If that's
Oh,
is she
and
around with
Keothi
us?
could light it
Oh,
too.
yes, especially for the thing that you want to go do. She is,
Yes.
she's coming.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm so
Was Keothi
curious.
at the resurrection?
No.
I don't think
Okay.
she was.
Cool. Good.
Mike
Good.
was muted. She had to stay and heal people, right? That was
Yeah.
the main thing.
That's good. That's
She's
good.
like head of the heal.
Yeah.
That's not how you say that, but you know what
It's close enough.
I mean. Yeah.
Head of the heel.
Head of the heel.
Alrighty.
Stiletto.
So, Bianca, Suni, and Keothi will head off to Damaris Keep to handle the various things they need to handle there. Cecily, you stay with Vondor. You take a couple of days to learn the spell, Teleportation Circle, with him. Carasilla, we'll get to her next week. Ajax, you're the final individual. What is Ajax doing in his time in Maester?
This is like they don't have shops set up yet, right? Like this is right after the battle and stuff, so they don't. Do they have that?
No, they do. It's been about a month since Ajax
Oh,
has been
shit.
alive. And
That's
with
right,
that, the
that's right.
entirety of all of the snow has melted. The rivers have been flooded with water. The ice is completely broken away, and the city is alive again.
Before Cecily goes off and does her thing, I think Ajax will walk over to her and ask her a question and say,
You wouldn't happen to know if there's any types of magic to disguise oneself?
There is, but I don't think I can do it on you. It exists, though. I just don't really know the, You know, when you're in school, they talk about, like, you don't have any book smarts, kid, but at least you got street smarts. I mean, maybe that's just something they said to me, but you know the expression? I'm like a street smart magician. I don't know the technicalities, but I'm sure that's out there. I know that disguisey stuff exists. I also know that some of it is just appearance and some of it is physical. Like, I am able to do this thing with just to myself. Sorry, but I'm able to do this thing where I can disguise myself, but I can also physically change myself. You know, like if I want to be a foot taller, she'll just use alter self. Like if I just want to be me but like a foot taller, like I can just do that. Everything's weird up here, so I don't do that usually. I also can do this, and she'll just open up gills on her neck. So that's useful, and that's and seal them back up. That's useful when you know you need that.
you think this type of magic is something I could purchase?
Well, I guess if you get a scroll, I could figure it out, but maybe somebody figured out how to enchant it into an item. That seems like something. I just don't know where a shop in this town would be where that can be done, but that's probably what you're gonna want, because otherwise you're gonna have to keep casting it all the time, and even if that was your thing, that'd be exhausting.
I'm not sure I could. I have no money, so I could not purchase an item.
Right.
I want to hide the way I look.
Right. Get it.
Thank you, Cecily.
Oh, no. Listen. There's a whole existential issue going on here, but as far as the money, I got that. Here. She'll hand you just like, I don't know, a quarter of her finances. I don't know what to do with this shit. Here, just take some.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had it for months, and we keep going places where there's no economy. So I haven't used it.
You could use it now. I would hate to take this from you.
Yeah, but on what? Bread? That only costs copper. I got plenty. We all got plenty. It's all good.
I appreciate it. If I don't find anything, I will return this back to you.
Sure.
Thank you, Cecily.
And he's going to put it in his pouch and just kind of turn around and walk into. You see, he pulls the hood even further over his face, and he's going to try to find a magic shop that sells something with disguise self or alter self or anything like that, so you can hide the way he looks.
Just so you know, Ajax, I gave you 500 gold.
Good, because I had 0.
Yeah, I knew
Thank
you were
you.
acting meek and everything, but I knew John would want some money, so there you go. 500
I
gold.
appreciate it.
So, Ajax, go ahead and make an investigation check.
He doesn't have that eyeball thing, does he?
That he does
Does he
not.
still have that? Yeah, okay. Let me just unequip that.
Okay, 13.
13.
Investigating around the city, not asking any questions, but just trying to find a way. You do overhear some murmurs and some chattering of one individual that seems to be either repairing or selling magical items, even though they are at a higher cost than normal due to the demand for them within the city, and the lack of supplies that they can get for these materials. And generally where they're located within the market square, you can kind of tell. So you head in that direction. And as you do, you can see that the individual peddling these materials and managing these either broken or just in general need of refurbishment or repair magic items is somebody that you and your companions are familiar with, Suna. An individual that they had encountered long ago. So I'll put that to the chat as you see her there. As you see her just talking to different people that are sort of lining up, saying, yes, I could repair this. This is, I understand that this is a very valuable item from your family. I'll do what Sir, I'm very sorry to say this isn't magical. It's not magical. And you see the man that she's talking to. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not magical? This is passed down from generation to generation. It's a magical dagger. It was my grandfather's and his before his and his before his. Sir, I don't know what to tell you. It's not magical. I can't do anything with this. You'd be much better off finding a blacksmith. I'm very sorry, but here's your dagger, and have a nice day. And you see him just kind of grumble and walk off. Whew. As you see her exhale from that social interaction. And Ajax, do you approach?
I think once... Does it look like people are... there's going to be a break in people talking to her? Okay. So once that happens... She's met Ajax before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's going to slowly walk over, trying to keep his face hidden and everything hidden, and just say,
Good morning, Suna.
Oh, hi, Ajax.
I'm looking for some sort of magical item that has disguising properties. I only have 500 gold, if you know of anyone who's selling one.
As far as I know, I'm the only person in Maester that's selling. And you see she keeps trying to get a peek under your cloak.
he moves every time.
What are you sick? Is there...
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you... Well, I understand an urge to disguise yourself, but I'm sure that whatever it is, it's probably not that bad of a sickness. I mean, what is it?
Do you know of an item?
Yeah, I know of an item. Yeah, here. And she reaches down underneath the stall, and she hands you a ring, and says, "You can just give it back to me when you're not sick anymore. It's mine, so sorry for asking too many questions. You don't... Listen, considering everything that all of you have done for this place, just give it back when you're done."
He takes it. He tries to be very swift so she can't see his hand, and starts to walk away and stops and
Thank you.
and just walks off.
I hope you start to feel better.
He's gone.
Weird. And at that point, another patron walks up, and immediately she's on to the next person. And for all intents and purposes, John, you can add a hat of disguise to your inventory.
But it's a ring.
But it's a ring.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Please
Ajax.
don't be attunement. Fuck!
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, damn.
It's okay. Ring of
Sacrifices we
protection.
make.
He will start attuning to the Ring of Disguise. He was going to take off his Ring of Protection.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yep.
Alrighty. Cool. So, you stay in town for the rest of the duration then?
Yeah, if everyone's gone off, like, do their own thing, Ajax will just, stay in the town. I think at one point, is there a Temple of Baelor here?
Yeah, there's a temple to all of the divines, which actually, it used to be the Sapphire God, but you would actually, Ajax, if you did head to the temple, Azor is no longer here.
Really?
She has left the city, yeah. So with that, priests
I feel like
and
that definitely won't come up ever again.
Yeah, well, forget about it. We don't need to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah.
So, I mean, not to take up too much more time, but how long does it take to attune to this ring?
An hour.
Okay, once he's attuned to it, he will use it to cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
And make himself look like old Ajax.
Okay.
The way he looked before death. And he will put the cloak in the bag and walk into the temple of Palor. I think walking in, I assume people know who he is at this point.
Mhm.
Like he's definitely still walking as if he looks like current Ajax.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his head held high. He's slouched over. I don't know the word. And he's just going to either find if there's a statue or like a mural or anything of Palor. He's just going to like stare at it and just say,
Will you talk to me now?
No response.
Please. Don't do this to me.
he's just gonna continue to talk to Palor and I guess no response.
Yeah. No response.
Yeah, he's going to walk out of the Temple of Palor quickly, and I think he's going to find some alleyway, try to find like a mirror or something. If there's anywhere like you can find like a mirror or glass or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's just going to look into this mirror, looking like past Ajax, and then he's going to, using the ring because it's at will, just slowly remove the disguise so that he can see himself as he is now. And he's just going to continue to turn the ring on and off. Past Ajax, current Ajax, light, dark, until eventually he gets so angry that he just breaks the mirror.
Yeah.
And then he's just gonna kind of disappear into the city. And that's it.
Alrighty. So Ajax, it is worth noting, after that moment, each night that you are in Maester, each night there is a brief point, this moment of twilight, where you black out. Each night. No memory of what happens. It's only for maybe 2-3 hours, but it's always in the dead of night, and you never remember it when you wake up, or when you come back to. But on that note, what I will say briefly is, Cecily, over the course of a couple of days, no need to roleplay it out, you do learn the spell Teleportation Circle. Vondor teaches it to you. He transfers that magic to you, and there are no material components needed to cast it. It just has the 10-minute cast time, and you conjure the materials through your own raw magic that's embedded into your blood.
Sick. And is it just for this one, or can I make a new circle?
You can make a new circle if you go through the process of like every day for a year. I think is what it is. Or you can learn more teleportation circles. So we can say Emeril taught you his as well. So you have 2
Cool.
safe places to go to.
Okay. Sweet.
And then any other teleportation circles that you can find, you can note those down, and then you can go to them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of forgot making a permanent one as a whole ass thing.
Yeah, it is a downtime situation.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, with that, we will then, and if you can't add it, I can add it after the game.
I should be able to go ahead and add it because it thinks. I think D&D Beyond thinks I have one less spell than I should because we added Bigby's hand. So I should be able to just.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, should be able to just add it right in.
Sounds good to me. Alrighty.
Yep, got it.
So, with that, we will go ahead and cut to Suni, Keothi, and Bianca. For the 3 of you, the travel through Fort Ivar and Damaris Keep is so incredibly smooth and refreshing compared to where you were just a month ago. Oh, there's no vision here. Oop, there you go.
Oh, nice.
It is peaceful. It is green. It is alive. Suni, you feel at home, embraced by the natural elements. Bianca, you breathe fresh air, the air of your home. And Keothi seems similarly at home. As the 3 of you ride, sparing no time, trying to get to and from Damaris Keep as quickly as you can, you make the journey. What I will say is that before you get to Damaris Keep, you do need to rest once before, and then you'll need to rest once on your way back after spending a day within Damaris Keep. So that's where your 3 days come from. On the first night that you rest, probably within Fort Ivar, there are beds and cots that are there that all of you can sleep on. You sleep under protection, so no need to worry about anything. Keothi sort of looks to you, Suni, and says,
Are you ready?
He'll look her in the eye and give a small nod for saying, I think so. How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. I don't know what will happen, but whatever it is, it's got to be good, right?
It has to be.
There is one thing that we need to prepare. One thing that over the past month I had been studying while you had been in and out of, well, things. There is a ritual we'll need to do that is traditional of the Kalukathos if we're to activate the stones. Luckily for you, always ending up in the right place at the right time, knowing the right things. The movements of the ritual are very similar to the dance you do when you train. I have marked it up to more of that helm makatai, the weave wills as it wills and whatnot, but there are a few variations. So tonight, before we go to bed, I'd like to practice those with you.
I'd love that.
And no checks or anything. She tells you the differences. You are dexterous. It's easy enough for you to make small adjustments to the way that you move and to the way that you fight. You can definitely tell, though, that these movements they're your sword fight, but slower. They are more definite, like stone, not like wind and water, what you're used to. This is stone and earth and soil, deeply rooted. And you and her practice the movements 3 or 4 times, and by the 4th time she smiles and nods and says,
It's perfect. When we reach the stones, I have no doubt they'll hear us.
I'm really excited to meet all of them. I'm mostly excited for you to meet all of them.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we're both Kalukathos, so
That's right.
that's right.
And we'll have a whole clan now.
Exactly.
as that's going on, Bianca, what are you doing?
I think Bianca, since, you know, everything is looking so different from the, like, how they got to know this space was so, like, frozen and cold, and it's obviously, like, healing. And I think for Bianca, and we're in Fort Ivar, which had, I mean, I assume they haven't been able to rebuild outside of Maester much, so it's still, like, kind of collapsed and ruined and everything, right?
Yeah, there are small areas like barracks attached to the wall where people can stay, but the main keep itself is almost still
Right.
entirely destroyed, considering what happened last time you were here.
Yeah. I think Bianca, kind of like, following through on what she said to the Raven Queen, would spend some time in the keep to, like, honor the fallen and everything, since they probably haven't had much time to do that, or for her to take a moment to, like, really breathe and acknowledge that. But after she's done with that, I think Bianca would maybe have packed, like, a book and like a teapot and everything to take with them, because she's trying to, in combination of letting go of the Raven Queen, I think she's trying to kind of re-find the little joys that she used to know. And I think she would just, like, have a quiet evening and read and have some tea and just try to remember who she was before everything had happened, and losing her mother and Ajax and Keothi and Cecily, and going to the past and the Dark One, and just whatever life was before all of this.
Okay. So as you sit and relax, do you think you're in proximity to Suni and Kyo as they're practicing? Or do you think you're more off on your own? Either is okay.
I think she'd be actually off on her own. I think
Okay.
she would be wanting just very much like a quiet space to herself.
Yeah. Mad respect. Alone time is important. So you take a seat, put your back up against a tree, you have some tea, you read a book, and for the next couple of hours, it is sublime. It is so nice. The quiet, the peace. After a couple of hours, you do hear what sounds like small twigs snapping near you, and you hear a voice shortly after say,
I promise you I meant not to sneak up on you. Well, there's one more thing that we needed to go over.
as you turn around, you can see walking through the woods, Hades. The thing that is strange about him as you turn around to see him is his physical form is opaque. You can almost see through it in areas that's not heavily clothed.
As she gets up, she'll say, "Glad you could reach me. Seems like it's a little bit more difficult when we're not in thrall, though."
It is. You see, me and my brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, my extended family in Thorol, our power comes from belief. And should the people not believe hard enough in the area we are in, well, and you see he kind of holds his hand up and the translucent nature of his skin, we begin to fade. But it was important, so I decided to come here and speak with you. This will not take long, but I wanted to give you a gift. I had an afterthought. The weapon you carry, the one that you wield in the name, or wielded in the name of the Raven Queen. I'm assuming since your friend was returned to you, you have not used it yet.
No, she pulls it out. And it doesn't quite seem like it's gonna be as useful as it was.
No, it will not. But you, my friend, are going into very dangerous territory, and, well, considering we've just made a deal, what kind of ally would I be if I did not protect our shared interest? So, I understand that you may be in need of a new weapon. And I would be more than willing to lend you one of my own. For a short duration, while you try and rekindle the flame with your, well, dearly departed Raven Queen.
Well, thank you. I definitely would accept that. I seem to be losing weapons for various reasons right and left lately.
As it happens. It is the way of the weave, as they tell me.
Oh, the weave pulls me in all kinds of directions, let me tell you.
At least this one I am thankful for. And you can see he begins to sort of mime with his hands this arced shape. And eventually these twists of ember and wood begin to twist together in his hand as he begins to conjure a bow. And you can see as he conjures it and twists the wood all together, you can see this beautiful longbow. It is deep, dark brown wood that is inlaid and decorated with this vibrant gold material. And you can see he doesn't hand you the bow. As he conjures it, he sort of grabs it by both ends, and you can see it's almost like he's folding reality a bit as he sort of folds it into itself. And you can see he folds it into what looks to be a like a very small bolt. You can see that it's a bident, I guess is what it would be called. It's got the two forked ends. I guess a fork. That's why didn't I just call it that? It's like a fork.
I don't know what a bident is, but I was about to Google it. So.
Yeah, so it's like a small fork, and he just sort of hands that to you and says, all you need to do is conjure on the magic that you and I share, and the bow will be summoned to your hand.
Wow. She will, after she receives it, just try it out and conjure it so that she can kind of get a feel for it.
Yeah, you can feel a surge of heat immediately embrace your hand. Being a tiefling, no adverse effect. As the flame sparks in your hand, the fully grown bow emerges, and by shutting off that connection, it returns back to being the bident.
And I can't remember how we wanted to do it. Do we want to do for the Blood Hunter stuff, is there like a sharp edge to the bow, or is it like fire damage that, are we like heat damage for the...
Yeah.
Crimson
so
Right. Sorry. I was
no,
looking
you're
for the
fine.
word.
So there is this how I described the actual bite itself at the very front of the bow where arrows would knock and where the arrowhead would line up. It doesn't require arrows; it just pulls
right.
back. And
And when
there
she
are the
pulls
two.
back, there's
Yeah.
right. Gotcha. I remember now. I was like, we had a conversation, and I don't remember what it was.
No, it's okay.
So as she kind of gets a feel for it, and it collapses back. Thank you. I'm actually kind of familiar with bows. That's what my dad first trained me with, so kind of feels at home.
Well, the weave and its mysterious ways. Well,
I appreciate you coming out so far. Promise I'll try not to burden you with too many requests.
oh, you could never burden me, Bianca. Just keep doing what you're doing, and, well, I guarantee you not just me, but many people will be happy campers. I must be on my way. I do not get to the Old Kingdom often. I wonder if there are any other recently, any recently freed up individuals that are looking to, well, make a difference.
That's a word. Before you go, you mentioned your brothers. Who are they? I'm not familiar, and I know my friend Ajax probably could tell me, but he's had a lot going on. I don't really want to pester him too much.
Yes. I am the eldest of 3. Two brothers I have. One oversees the coast and the water, anything deep below the depths, and the other one is much more connected to the sky, to thunder and lightning. I believe from Cecily's connection it would be close to Odin. But as I hear it, not as much of a fuckhead, I guess, would be the way I'd put it lightly.
Fair enough.
My youngest brother, he thinks highly of himself. Very highly, which is why he puts his magical little castle so high up in the clouds. But not as self-righteous as Odin. He thinks highly of himself, but not like that.
Interesting. So funny how those sky gods tend to rub people the wrong way, don't you think?
Oh, yes. You do not even know the half of it. But we are not here to uncover the past. There are skeletons in both our closets that we'd like to keep there. I am looking forward to our partnership, Bianca Damaris, and I look forward to seeing what you accomplish.
She'll kind of give a nod, realizing that he doesn't need bows and grand gestures, really. It seems like he's more casual. Thank you, again.
He nods, and he looks down at the book tucked in your arm. It's a good book. And he'll
Thanks.
just turn and begin to walk away. And this time, it's not nearly as... The impact is still the same, but you can see that being... The further he gets away from you, the more translucent and then almost invisible he becomes. Moving away from one source of belief in this area. But you see him
that
fade
makes
away.
sense.
Not teleport, he's still walking, but he's just invisible now.
Right. Yeah, he's just not clear or visual. Yeah, I think Bianca will... She feels oddly at peace in the weirdest way, even though everything that just happened, she's like just kind of letting herself be calm and in a way happy. And so she'll just kind of smile as he walks away, put her new weapon on her belt or wherever, and then get back to reading.
Okay. Alrighty. So, with that, eventually you all head to rest after a long day of writing, reading, and dancing. Ritual movement preparation, I guess is what I could call it. But you feel fully prepared, Suni, and so does Keothi. Bianca, you are ready to accompany them, light your brazier that you were instructed to, and accompany them where they need to go. So, with that, we will go ahead and move out of the Canyon River and out of the Nature Day. As we eventually move into the ruins of Damaris Keep and Damaris City. It is, rough, to say the least. While it is not covered with snow, there is still a great deal of destruction that is laid bare. You can move around quite easily with the guards that are still placed here, but it is still, like I said, dangerous. So you begin to make your way throughout the ruinous city of Damaris Keep. So, stepping throughout the city, you pass by guards every once in a while. They nod to you, recognizing who all of you are. And there are several of the the Mazdrum dwarves, that's like the third time I've forgotten their name tonight, who offer to guide you to where you need to go. They lead you into the keep and elevated, they bring you into what seems to be this large shaft, this large elevator that has been created to bring people up and down the keep, since most of the stairwells have been destroyed from the destruction of the keep in the excavation process. So the dwarves of the Mazdrum Mountains, they lead you in and they tick the elevator up. The counterweight system heaves as the wood creaks as you begin to rise. As you arrive at the level you need to be, you can see they lock it in place, and one of the dwarves of the Mazdrum Mountains, he says,
"Please, son, follow me. I'll take you to the brazier you look for."
Thank you.
And he begins to walk, and he says, "You know, I was the one who found the brazier. Yeah, strange thing. Never seen something like it before. Of course, I've seen braziers. You wouldn't believe the first group of people I said that. Oi, Thorbeck, you never seen a brazier, you daft twat. Of course I've seen braziers before.
No, I understand. It must not be a common one.
No, it's not. You'll see it for yourself. It's just, it feels. Yeah, you'll see. You'll feel it too."
And he leads all of you down. Eventually, the hallway turns into this sort of rocky, cavernous entry point, where the stone is not hewn with like pickaxes or drilling equipment. It is smooth stone. It looks as though whatever came through here, it didn't burrow, it just obliterated. It just decimated, completely removed from existence the stone. There's no mark of anything. I mean, it would have taken any other mason years to sand and smooth the cavern to this degree. You eventually get to the end after about 20 minutes of walking. And you can see this large room. It is overwhelming upon first entry. As you begin to feel it, what the man talked about. You see beneath you this incredibly intricate pattern made from obsidian and ivory. Two halves twirling into each other. You see in the middle there is a brazier. It is seemingly hewn from similar materials as opposed to forged from brass or any other type of metal. Stepping into the room, it is ethereal. There is this lightness that Bianca, Suni, and Keothi feel. But there's something eating at you as well. That feeling you get when you're with friends and you're laughing and you're having a really good time, and then there's that silence. That moment you feel your smile begin to decay. It's not that the moment is bad. It's not that anything bad happened. It's just joy fading. That is the perpetual feeling you get in this room. As you enter, the brazier sits in the middle. You can see that on the left and right, representing the ivory and the obsidian side, there at one point in time were two figures carved into the stone, but by this point, it seems though an individual came through and defaced those statues, whatever they were. No longer recognizable.
While we're in there, Bianca will turn to Suni. Can you sense anything? Like this space being, what do you call it again? Either blessed or cursed or hollowed or
Desecrated?
desecrated. Yes. Do you see any influence, divine or otherwise?
Suni will cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. Suni, immediately your senses are overwhelmed. The most potent you have ever felt the spell be. You feel as though on the floor beneath you is the very representation of good and evil. The floor is not alive, mind you. It's not a living creature that is ready to catch you in a trap. It is just these two plates that twirl into each other represent two halves of the world. Cruel, unforgiving evil, and loving, caring good.
It's odd. I don't know. The balance of the good and the bad and the uneasiness of it all. I don't think it feels desecrated necessarily, but part of this is definitely evil.
But you sense a balance at least?
Big time.
Well, I think Bianca would kind of get closer to the brazier to just kind of inspect it to see if there's anything else that she missed when first entering the room and just with the vibes and everything. But once she feels ready, she'll like take a step back and get out the new bow and try to light/cast a radiant flame and shoot that arrow into the pyre. Or not pyre. Yeah, brazier, pyre. Yeah, kind of same.
Okay. All right. So as you do, oh, where did that go? Wait, no. The music. Where is it? I hate it. John, you know, does this ever happen to you where you stop a track and then all of the tracks in the playlist reshuffle?
No, that hasn't happened to me before.
You're just
I thought you were
special.
gonna say you can't find the track you wanted because that happens to me every session.
All right. I found it. Bianca, as you attempt to channel this light from within, you can feel that it sort of sputters. You attempt to channel that radiant energy from within into the brazier, but it is sparks, but no flame. Your first initial go to just kind of effortlessly do it leads to nothing. If you'd like to choose to exert more force, you can try that, or you can ask Suni and Keothi for help.
I think her first initial reaction would be to try and exert more force, because I think she might just feel a little frustrated since it used to be something that came so naturally. Obviously, it could be the space, but she's, I think, starting to panic that maybe she has severed a connection that she really needed. So I think she would try and, like... And Suni and Keothi could probably tell that the fact that it didn't necessarily work right away kind of stressed her out a little bit, so she'll like take a moment to kind of like roll her shoulders and be like, okay, that's fine, and try again.
Okay. All right, I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Ooh, that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Okay. So, Bianca, with a 16, you can feel that glowing in your chest, that like almost vitiligo-like pattern. What?
To
Cameron?
saving throws. Plus
Okay,
saving
but
throws.
I thought you said,
Oh.
I heard, what a whore, and I was like,
Oh my God,
whoa!
absolutely.
Or
not.
two? I didn't hear what a
Oh
whore, I just heard
God.
or, and I was like, okay.
I was like, holy shit, dude!
+4.
Plus
Not a
four.
D4, +4, so it's
Plus
a...
4.
So 20.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Oh, that makes sense with the radiant stuff. I didn't even think about that.
So, the vitiligo, you feel it begin to burn for a moment. This singe, this radiance deep within yourself that you can feel it like twisting and turning. I mean, you know infernal heat. You know what that feels like. Radiance is something else entirely. It is the burning away of existence, not of flesh, right? It is shredding the evil, shredding the wrong, and sometimes even shredding away life. It is meant to obliterate, to remove any uncleanliness. You can feel it burn within you. You can feel the vitiligo grow in brightness as you have to sort of bring your head away, but you know you need to see. You need to witness as you sort of bring your hand up, and you can feel that radiant flame begin to twirl from your hand, this last remnant of connection that you have to Pelor from the spear, from the Raven Queen, from your previous pact, from Elwyn, given the two connections you have to it behind you, through Cecily and the magic connected to Tyr and Odin and the Old Blood. and Carasilla and the magic of the Gleeman and this dream world, all of these focal points for you, they begin to resonate like notes as the flame twirls from your hand and impacts the brazier, and there is this golden light that begins to burn. As you recoil and sort of pull yourself back, Bianca, you take 20 points of radiant damage, doubled to 40.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Wait, why does it say death saves? Did I accidentally put 400?
Oof.
I meant 40, but now I'm on death saves, so let me fix myself. Okay. Why did that happen? Okay, she's good now. She's at 66, where she should be.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. All right. So, as Bianca is flung back from the excessive force of the radiant energy, you can see the brazier glows. It burns brightly. It is warm. You feel at home. There still is that shadow that lingers, but you feel peaceful. You all now can see the brazier illuminating the room around you. And it is beautiful. You can see with the brazier alight, there are these veins of minerals that begin to appear that look like fractured lightning running across the ceiling and walls. Some of it being that stark white stone of the ivory-like material, and others being the deep black of the ebony, but of course on opposite sides of where they originate. And all three of you can now see there is this script that glows on the brazier. Script that none of you can read. None of you know this language.
That sucks.
But you can write it down, and I will go.
Can we tell what language it is, or it's completely new looking to all of them?
So, Eothi actually, due to her studious nature, she would recognize the script. She can't read it, but she says,
That is... that's the old tongue. the first language of the first creatures created by Bahamut and Tiamat long ago. I do not read the old tongue. I only know a few words and phrases, but it says Sa Shaitan and Soen Aurido Indi Nayenda I Ti Heunsu Sins Ken Dival Resize and Force Othenbli Indi Irit Shai Risa. I know very little of it. In fact, I don't even know very many.
Would, by chance, Keothi saying these words out loud, like, does this unlock anything for Suni as somebody who maybe existed, like, in the time of the old tongue? Like, is this like a script he's heard before?
That's a very interesting question, Sunny. Sunny, I'd like you to roll a D100 for me.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Okay, I always fucking do this wrong. So it's. Oh no, I can just do it like this. I can just hit the button. Hell yeah, look at that. Button. I don't have to type anything.
34. Okay. You are able to, as you look into the script, Bianca, you see this, and Keothi would see this as well. Suni, your eyes, they don't gloss over, they flash this bright green. As they dim again, Suni had, as a Dragonborn, he had this sort of middle ground between more human eyes and these more draconic eyes, where he still had pupils, and the irises just with darker bases to them. When his eyes, the brightness dims, the eyes that now sit in his head are much more reptilian. Sort of fractured pupils, deep, deep, deep bronze hues. As Suni, it's not all the way the connection there, but you do know that this is some type of poem or prophecy or some type of scripture about the Dark One, the Creator, and something about restoration.
When his eyes kind of, after going through that whole thing and his eyes kind of returning to without the flashiness, he would kind of just have a confused and vaguely concerned look on his face, and will say, I don't know exactly what this says, but I can somehow tell what it's about, at least a little bit. It's the Dark One and the Creator and restoration of some sort, or was it reformation? I don't remember what you said, sorry.
Yeah, restoration.
Restoration and restoration.
Okay. Do we know anyone that does anyone know how to, actually read the old language? Or is it just a good guess?
I don't know how to read it, but
You would need to find some ancient creature. I know the giants could, but there are no more of them left. Some
What about-
dragons can.
I was just gonna say the salamanders. We met low. Maybe when we go to Atarashi, we could maybe reach out, see if we can connect. I have no idea where the Central Salamander would be, and we've only ran into the Western Salamander once, I think, because Lo helped with that as well. But I've been thinking a lot about this fight against the Dark One. Obviously, we all have, but restoration and the fact that this, and like gesturing to the whole room, how there's a balance between light and dark. I've really been wondering if we're actually supposed to defeat the Dark One or just fix the balance of light and dark. I haven't really fully said that out loud. Kind of talked about it a little bit with a few people, but because you need both, right? Darkness isn't innately evil, and you need darkness to have light. They need each other. Maybe this poem would be able to crack some of that code a little bit, because does that make sense?
I
Yes.
think. Go ahead, Suni.
Oh, I was just gonna say it makes sense. I just don't understand, outside of putting an end to the Dark One, what other way is there to make it balanced?
But you said restoration was a part of this. Maybe something in the creation of existence, maybe some of these ancient languages would know better. Maybe Lo, or I know we can't speak with the giants, but maybe if we found more text from the giants. I don't know.
Is there a chance, Keothi, that any of the Kalukatho might be able to help us with this? I know you don't know any of them specifically, but
Perhaps it just. If, and this is a very big if, but there is a chance. Each one of the 4 clans, there were 2 Goliaths that the giants made. There was Anna and then Kalathai. There was Shai and Ka. There was Katho and Olavai, and then there was Kalu and Katho. They were the first 2. Each one a pair. Each one meant to be a balance to the other. If those 2 are buried or were embedded into the stones in the mountains, then perhaps. But it is a long shot.
it's worth a try, though. You know, you think that once we'd start figuring out you'd think that by now we would figure out some answers, but it's like anytime we get one step closer, there's 3 more things we need to figure out. Saving the world is really, really, really tiring.
But let's think about it though, because if in a world with no light or the creator, we saw what that looked like. So in a world with no darkness, that could possibly also bring ruin. But what But if the Dark One has always been, there is a way to achieve balance, or at least restore. There has to be. This isn't how things are supposed to be. Darkness was created for a reason. We just need to
Was
bring it back to
darkness
the...
created, or did it just exist and light was created?
I don't know. Do you think is that what...
No, no one knows. There are many philosophers from Thoral to Macavia to Calderaz to Afera who have spent their entire lives trying to discover the reason, the proof, where it all started.
But wouldn't that still mean that light cannot be without dark? If light only came because of dark?
But then, does that mean that if it's a cycle, right? If the Dark One is meant to overcome the light and consume that plane, only to move on to another, does that mean there are infinite worlds of light? Does that mean that all we're consigned to is to fight as best we can, but to be crushed eventually? I'm not saying you're wrong, I don't know what the right answer is. It's hard to think that a world with darkness is the world we have to live in.
I meant more the balance between light and dark, not... And also, who's even to say that the Dark One is darkness or just someone using... Because the creator gave up, right? Like, the creator is in everyone now. He's not, or they're not their own entity. But the Dark One is. Maybe there's an answer in that too. I was not meaning that we have to live in a world full of darkness, but I've been concerned about balance. And
I think you're right about it. That word just keeps coming up too often for it to be any coincidence. Pairs and balance and right and wrong and good and evil and light and dark and metallic and chromatic and all of that shit. It's just all the same all over.
Well, I think that perhaps we should put a hold on this conversation until we can converse with the others.
Agreed. It's just something I've been thinking about, and I've been afraid to express it, worried that people get the wrong impression.
Well, thank you for expressing it. I think it's a valuable thing to consider at the very least.
Mm-hmm. And don't take my disagreement. I agree. I wasn't disagreeing because I think you were wrong. Disagreement is how we find the best ideas.
No, it's a scary thought. It's one that I had and hated for a long time. So, I don't know. We just don't know what to do. But we can keep doing what we know we can do. The 13. That we can handle. And then we can learn more from there.
Baby steps.
Right. I think Bianca will kind of like rub the sore spots on her skin and say, I might just go take a look around and get a breather then. Unless you guys need my help with what you need to do.
I mean, you're welcome to be a part of it if you'd like to.
Would you like me to?
I mean, this is a group of people that we're about to unearth in your kingdom, so...
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what you guys were doing. So I didn't know if it was like a private thing or... But yeah, have they expressed it? I thought they were trying to keep it...
Suni told everybody about this thing, like, after he first learned about it. That when he spoke to Elowen the most recent time, that she told him that there was a way to bring the Kalukatho people back.
Okay. And
And
you
it's
know
like-
what? Felicity might have just forgotten.
It
That's
was
on
it's
me.
been a
There's
long
been a lot.
time.
There has been a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was low on the totem pole in when it got brought up. So now it's
Okay.
just it's
Let's
something that's
do it then. Bianca
Yeah.
wants to be a part of that. Bring him back. Let's go. Rock people.
Also, as always, Suni always keeps an eye out for things that are very, very shiny, very, very interesting, or very, very expensive looking. So,
Yeah.
just as we're traveling around and looking for the spot where the Kalakathu are, he will keep his eye out for stuff like that.
Yeah, as you're leaving the room, Suni, you do see a piece of that ivory material does seem kind of broken at the very corner of the room. It's a very nice piece of stone, like this very bright, stark white ivory-like material that seems to be free for the taking if you want to grab it.
You'll look to Keothi, look to Bianca, look down, and we'll slowly creep away, and then start moving a little quicker to go and grab it and pick it up and see what it is.
Okay. Are you trying to hide it from them?
No.
Okay. So Bianca and Keothi both see Suni go and pick it up, and as you investigate it, it doesn't feel magical necessarily. It still emanates that good cosmic alignment, good energy, not like good vibes, but like cosmic good energy. But the room doesn't fall apart when you pick it up. You just hold it in your hand and you feel a little bit more at peace.
Suni will bring it to Bianca and say, "A little piece of the good for you to keep with you."
She will take it, and I think it Bianca's whole any time she tries to hide emotion is just gone now. You can tell that that really moved her, and she'll pull you in for a hug.
Oh,
How did I
You will
get so
respect it.
lucky to have a brother like you?
I'm the lucky one.
Keothi just
My
goes,
little family.
"Oh, I love it."
Oh no! Let's bring Kyo in for a hug too. What? Let's just
Go,
hug.
she'll
Let's
pick,
just vibe.
she'll pick both of you up. Oh, you
Yes,
two.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Alrighty.
Now
So,
And
let's
the only
go
thing I
meet
wanna
some
do-
relatives. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh hell yeah! The only thing I want to do before we completely leave is just take a look at the throne room so we can eye it up and down and be like, should we destroy this bitch or restore this bitch? What do we think?
yeah, you can see Thorbeck, the dwarf that took you in here, is waiting by the elevator. And as you get back, he says,
See what I said about the brazier like that? You ever seen one like that?
Oh, so weird.
No, and that stung. I think, and she'll turn to Kyo and Suni. Any radiant stuff? It's y'all's job now. I'm done. Didn't quite work out for me.
Okay. Get on the elevator. I'll take you to the throne.
all right, so all of you get on the
Okay,
elevator.
let's go.
As you quietly
Yeah,
walk
that.
onto the elevator after his instruction. Yeah, I'm so used to a quip, so you just walk on. He says,
Yeah,
"That was easy." And you guys get on the elevator.
he was also ready for a quip.
Yeah. So
Because
you,
I'm not there. Sorry.
as you take the elevator up, you investigate the throne room or what's left of it, and it is pretty ruinous already. All that's left is the throne itself. The rest of the floor has caved in.
Does
So-
the throne have bad vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't need to answer that. Yeah, it does. Definitely desecrated.
Well, is there anything? I know you can identify that, Suni. Is there anything you can do about it?
I don't think so.
Well, Keothi, I know she's we have her character. She has a half cleric, but would she be able to tap into the hollow spell?
Yeah, for the purposes of this, she can come back.
Yeah, we can address it later, obviously, but
mhm.
okay. Cool. That's what I just kind of wanted to spy around a little bit. That's
Okay.
about it for me.
All right. So with that, you head back to the elevator, and you tell Thorbeck that you'd like to head, Suni, as you know, to the actual mountain itself. and he takes you to a path. You have to go down a bit and then to a mining chute that will lead you out onto the snowy cliffside. And from there, you can walk up. But we will come back to you in a second, because we're going to go ahead and pop back to Maester. So, as we arrive back in Maester, as I take it, Cecily, there was something you wanted to do.
Yee. So, we're just chilling. Just me and Ajax. Caracella's out hurdy-gurdying somewhere, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Past day or whatever. She, I'll leave it up to you, John, but she wants to find a moment where Ajax is just kind of by himself in our lodge or wherever we're currently staying.
Mm-hmm. By this point, the keep has been retrofitted so you can stay there.
Sweet. And yeah, she just wants to find him when he's having a moment, kind of removed from all the hustle and bustle, and talk to him a bit.
I think that the only times you would be able to catch Ajax is... Okay, so Joe, the Blackouts, does he wake back up in the keep? Wake up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you come back
Okay.
too in the keep.
Okay, so it'd be either those times or like maybe a time when Ajax has to come back to get something. But any other time, he is gone.
Ooh. Okay.
Um,
So I imagine then maybe for the past like 24 hours, she's been trying to catch you to say something, and you've just been gone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's juicy. But she'll like just one day, you're like coming in to grab something. She'll be like, "Oh, what? Okay, there you are. What you been doing?"
I have been walking.
Just walking?
Yes. I'm sorry, is there something you need?
I mean, you didn't even... I hardly saw you last night. I don't... Do you even need to sleep anymore? Like, at all?
And
I just felt like I might have not said exactly what I meant to when you asked about the disguise stuff. So I just wanted to catch you, is all.
he'll
Been gone.
he'll place his bag on a nearby table and sit down.
What form are you currently in?
Not Goth Ajax.
Okay.
I need to figure out names for the two. Ajax
doesn't
Prime
help.
and Ajax Now. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll figure out names for this so you can tell. But he's
undead
looks,
and re-dead.
yeah, before death, after death. So
Pre-Jax.
actually, which is probably something you would notice. Yeah, he looks like what he used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So he sits down and says,
there's no need to apologize.
Well, it's less of an apology, more like sit down and listen to me. Okay, look. When we're going to Adarashi in these next few days, you're probably going to want to use the disguise ring, and I get that. It's just kind of practical. Might be a few other situations to use it. Need to impress some sort of noble, and you know how they get. Need to I don't know, not scare a child or something. But it sounds like you also wanted it for you. Look, I didn't really share this with anyone back when it was happening, because I wasn't into sharing back when it was happening. But when I first learned how to do that spell I was showing you, I had a day where I looked in the mirror and I was kind of doing the same thing. Let me just ask you like this. And she's gonna cast Alter Self, and rather than do anything flashy or bizarre like she usually does, she's just gonna still be herself. But she's going to, just like a sheet, you see that every cut and scar and burn and potchmark and everything that is on her body, all the dozens of little marks and imperfections, just kind of all go away. And she's just this sort of plain porcelain model-like visage. Does this look like me?
Looks like a version of you.
Maybe. A version of me that isn't real. I had a stepmom for a while. I mean, I had two, but one of them was so good I stopped saying the step part. The second one was not that good. First month I had her, I was trying really hard to be good. And she was telling me how grateful I should be that she was taking a chance on someone like me. I should be grateful that she was trying to beat some sort of sense of manners into me. All that kind of stuff. And she used to look at me and say that it was a shame what my life had been like before she came and rescued me, because I could have been so pretty. I remember going into our little private bath that she had that was full of soaps and scrubs and a bunch of shit that smelled like plants that I still don't even really know what it was supposed to do. And I wanted so bad for all of it to be gone. I had a real dumb kid moment where I tried to rub it off. You know? So when I figured out one day that if I plucked at the weave a little bit, I could change how I look, obviously the thought was there. And that's just not me. I tried alone a couple nights. see if I liked it more. I think part of me just didn't want to give her the satisfaction. But I don't know if any of what I'm saying is making any sense. I just, I want you to know that I get that why you want the ring isn't just practical, and maybe in some small way I have felt that way before too. And I think it's better not to cling on to something that's gone. Even if it's you. And look, maybe Emeril's gonna pull some wacky shit, and this conversation won't even matter in a few weeks. You'll be good as new. But hard to count on something like that, you know, so.
You speak wise words. And I am so grateful for them. But Cecily.
And he turns the ring, and the disguise drops slowly, revealing the undead corpse that is now Ajax.
This isn't me. This body is a corruption. My soul, mine are here. Everything else is gone. I need the disguise. Because I'm confused. I don't know what I am anymore. And not only so that I don't raise suspicions walking through cities and towns and villages. I saw myself in a mirror. I did not like what I saw.
Would it blow your mind if I also avoided looking in mirrors for years? I know it's not the same. I'm just saying it. You don't need a curse to have something going on up here that makes you feel like you are.
I appreciate it. And I think in time I will learn. Deal with this. To fully adhere to your words. But I can't now.
Well, I've been there too. So that's cool. Keep using the ring for now. Do whatever you gotta do to get through the day, at least. Sometimes that's the best you can do. By the way, do you still have all my money?
He takes his bag, places the 500 gold down.
Oh, no,
I've been busy, I forgot.
that's okay. I was gonna say you should get yourself something nice. I know that pleasures of the flesh. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm never gonna say that again. I know that things you can taste and smell and whatever are off the table. But I don't know, dude. You can like buy a book, right?
I appreciate it, but I'd rather you have your money back. I don't need anything. Your counsel is worth more.
Okay, I'm having a real guilty orphan moment here. Why don't the two of us take this bag of money and figure out where somebody needs it and give it to them?
I can think of one place.
Yeah? Where's that?
There was this gentleman and his daughter. Their home caved in, the roof. I'd like to see if they have gained any favor and how they're doing. But I do not wish to show myself.
Well then, we can start with them. Work our way through some list. I don't know. Give it to a few merchant stalls, tip them real good for something. Give it to a few hungry kids.
This sounds like a good plan.
And he twists the ring again, and the Ajax you knew is back.
Cool. And Cecily will go ahead and return to her normal state as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right before she drops the spell, she'll grow claws and just like fuck with them, and then just put them away. Just all right, enough of that.
Alrighty. So, with that, the two of you decide to take that money, distribute it evenly to where you can, but specifically giving it to Rostek and Giovanna, the two individuals that Ajax had brought up in the first place. For what it's worth, as Cecily, you encounter them, Ajax hanging back a bit so they don't see you, if I understand correctly what you were saying before.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have a conversation with them, so he's just going to stay back.
Yeah. Cecily, as you approach, though, their house is doing much better. Rostek and Giovanna both are seeming in much better spirits and health. You can see Giovanna seems to have a nice new dress. And you can see that Rostek is hard at work in front of his house. It seems as though he is a carpenter by trade, and business has been pretty good for him, all things considered. So, both of them seem to be in high spirits and in good health, and Ajax, even from afar, you don't know if they would have made it through that cold chill if you hadn't been there to help with the roof. But now they're alive. They're happy because of you. So, Cecily, you can pass them a few gold, just spreading the wealth around. But
yeah, I think she'll tell them in particular, like, in Cecily terms, go stimulate the economy with this. You know, like, don't save this. Like, just go. Since you guys are doing good, just like go spread it around, you know?
I've got your stimulus check here.
Yeah, exactly. Money velocity, right? A
Yeah.
dollar is worth more in the hands of the working class than in the rich. So, you know, pass it around.
Boom.
Again, she doesn't know economics, but she has those concepts up here.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, we cut away from Cecily and Ajax and their mission to do good, as we return to Bianca, Suni, and Keothi. The three of you trying your best to traverse the rocky, icy crag that is this mountainside. Much of the cobbled stone steps have been covered with ice and snow, but footfall after footfall, you continue to move, breaking through ice until eventually you see before you, in this haze of fog and shadow, being this high up in the mountains, haven't taken this much time to get here as the sun is just beginning to set. You can see this ethereal blue and green glow emanating from these massive stones that are much larger than the ones you encountered in the road at the beginning of your journey. These are as tall as the watchtowers of Fort Ivar. As you arrive in the Kalukatho graves, after I undo the lighting. Boop, there you go.
Oh,
So,
shit, this is so cool.
you can see these massive stones reaching up to the air like fingertips. Some of them have more intricate detail carved into them. Some are actual, like, statues of great Kalukatho Goliaths from the past, not just a small stone jutting out of the ground with a singular symbol. Some of these have entire poems written on them in giant. And you can see Keothi is just entranced. And Suni, even for you, I don't believe you speak giant. I'm gonna go out on a limb there and say that. Yeah, common and draconic. Although you don't, you have a connection to this place, where even if you can't read the words verbatim, they still convey meaning and emotion, sorrow and loss, a desire to be reunited with the Mother of Mountains once again. Most of these reference the Mother of Mountains as Grumbar, not as Elowin, but that is something that you would be familiar with, Suni, with your connection to her. The Mother of Mountain has gone through many iterations, many versions, same as the gods themselves do. So, as you arrive at the top, as you step forward, you can see two of the largest statues here. You can see the names. One is that of Kalu, and the other is that of Katho. The two balancing forces of the clan. So with that, Bianca, as you hang back, Keothi looks to you, Suni, and over the wind says, "Are you ready?"
Definitely.
Okay. Whew, here we go. And
He gives her a big thumbs up.
So with that, you and Keo begin. You can hear the winds whistling sharply on these snowy mountain peaks as you reach the statues of Kalu and Katho. These towering monoliths of stone. Even though they're on top of a mountain's peak, they seem untouched by time, standing proud against this wintry expanse. Down below, you can see the ruins of the Keep of Damaris and the city, and you can see the wall of solid ice still smoldering. The sheer presence of the statues, it imbues the area that you stand in with this energy that is, you can feel it like static on your fingertips. Suni, as you and Keothi step forward, you position yourselves between these two statues, ready for the dance to begin, this ritual to begin. You can see Keothi look to you and say, "Are you ready?"
Let's do it.
Okay. With that affirmation, you both begin to move in a dance that passes through the generations of the Kalukatho clan. The rhythm of your feet against the cold ground creates a beat, echoing off the mountainside. Every step, every sway, every gesture is filled with intent, calling upon the spirits of not just the Kalukathu clan, but of their founders, the individuals of Kalu and Katho. You can hear the mountain seem to respond to your dance. The wind's howl softens as it's into this melodic whisper. The swirling of snowflakes begin to move in a harmony with your movements. You can hear Keothi begin to chant this ancestral hymn. You recognize the notes. It's the same song that she sang long ago on that boat on the journey to Fjardalet, the same one Carasilla sang at Keothi's resurrection ritual, except she sings it in giant. Would you like to join her, Suni?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suni's not a great singer, but
Okay. So Suni, as you begin to join, you can see in the brief moments when you two are turned towards each other, you can see her face light up with pride, seeing you sing this ancestral hymn with her. She's proud of you in this moment.
I'm proud of her.
No. So, her deep voice resonates. Yours resonates with the mountain. There is a heartbeat that you can feel that extends below the surface. You can feel the moon blades begin to gleam and glow around your waistband. You can see that there is this reflection of pale light from the overcast sky. As your dance reaches its climax, both of you simultaneously place your hands upon the statues, and there is this rush of natural magic that surges from the earth, envelops both of you in this vibrant aura of green and gold. The statues of Kalu and Katho and all of the others begin to glow. Ethereal vines and flowers sprout from the ground, wrapping around the statues and intertwining with the patterns of the runes that were etched. Suddenly, there is this deafening boom, an explosion of natural magic that bursts forth. All of you, Bianca, Suni, Keothi, you feel this this burst, and you see the snow immediately melt away. This meadow of vibrant wildflowers, even in this high altitude. The cold mountain air, it warms momentarily. It is filled with the scent of blooming roses and fresh pine. You can see each stone begin to glow different hues of purple and orange and green and blue and red, causing this northern lights effect above your heads. These threads of magic begin to coalesce into forms. Goliaths with long hair looming over the area. You see their essence dissolves into the earth below them, embedding themselves into the natural life. You can see the petals and vines and wildflowers begin to grow down the mountain, spreading and forking at Damaris Keep and around the city. You can see the entire area from here until as far as you can see begins to bloom with natural life that is unparalleled to anything you've ever seen before. Suni, as you are burst back, you can feel the moon blades eject themselves from your belt. You can see the vines and wildflowers begin to wrap around them, embedding into the hilts of the blade. As you go to pick them up, you can see these blades no longer glow silver. Instead, one is a hue of deep purple and the other is that of a radiant orange. The colors swirl within the blade that is reminiscent of a twilight sky. Yet they hum with this power of nature that is resonating within the energy of the statues. As the energy subsides, you can see the snowy peaks return to its tranquil state. But the area around the statues remains a testament to the ritual you just completed. There is this patch of flourishing nature on this mountain peak amidst this icy landscape. And Suni, there you, Keothi, and Bianca see two spectral visages, one of deep purple and one of radiant orange, the spirits of Kalu and Katho. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there we go. You see the spectral individuals, they speak in tandem. Their voices echo and overlap one another. There is no primary voice. They speak together, balanced.
The Kalokatho people live on. In the most unlikely of creatures.
As they look to you, Suni.
But you are not alone, Dragonborn. You come with your sister. You have freed us from this trap set upon us by the Dark One. We will restore light to this land as it was intended by the Creator. We bestow upon you the gift of our sight, so when you see the ancient tongue, you may read it for the truth that it is. Thank you. We will never be able to repay this great kindness.
And with that, Suni, you can see the spirits begin to fade as you feel the moonblades, they've changed. Embedded with this natural magic. Life returned to this place unparalleled to anything the material plane has seen in thousands of years. Balance is being restored. And as you and Keothi finish the ritual, you look to each other. You smile. You look to Bianca, and Bianca, you are just in awe in this moment of what you have just witnessed.
I was gonna say that she might even have like a few tears in her eyes, just like of how incredible that is. She is shook.
Yeah, Suni's also very awestruck right now.
Suni, as you... Keothi immediately runs to you and hugs. But Bianca, you hear crunching of snow behind you. As you turn to look, Suni and Keothi do the same. As Suni, you see the person you last expected to be in this place. A dragonborn. Of red scales. And a look of sorrow and sadness in her face. Seeing you. Suni. I found you. And as Sultana looks to you, Suni, this time, no look of question to her face. No look of confusion as to if you know the truth or if not. There's none of that. Just genuine happiness that she's found you. On that note, that is where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun. That was
I request an extension, please.
Sorry, it wasn't in the syllabus.
Pretty
have to submit it.
Yeah, you'll have to submit a request to HR.
I am HR.
The trick is HR takes 2 weeks to get back to you.
Mhm.
And it's kind of part of the scheme, you know. They're never back in time, and then
Yeah, so thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Tales of Everent. Friday for Roll Call with Kayla and Ryan to talk about Nalfian's most recent arc, the Turning of the Green Lady, and the absolute clusterfuck of emotions Nalfian has been going through. But be sure to tune in next Tuesday. So we will finally get to Atarashi, and we will begin the next arc of the campaign, but not after what I'm sure will be a very pleasant, super easygoing chat with Suni's soulmate and adversary for all of eternity. I'm sure it's going to be great.
and tune in next Sunday for Buried Time. You guys ready?
I was like, "Very times back? That's crazy."
Whoa, that's great.
We're doing it.
So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.